Hello, one and all. This is Luckless LoveLocks, and welcome to Norco. Shield hit the stars behind halogen and flame projected onto the sky every night. There was no such thing as silence. The noise never went away. The refinery exhaled an endless sigh. I still can't sleep without that sound. In your dreams, the towers were grand cathedrals, places of worship. The swamps hid behind mirrors like spies. The birds transformed into radiant spheres and traced omens above the highway blight. It's the I-10. The CN line. You spent your adolescence sleepwalking between little devastating rituals. Though Blake pleaded, you decided to leave. I knew he'd get over it. He never did. You caught out on a grainer to Chicago and onward to the West Coast. You never left Louisiana and thought you'd never return. You thought the ghosts of the lowlands wouldn't find you hiding along the road. The years carried you through overlit suburbs of the vast American limbo, across mountains, above cell towers. Thumbing down 99, you saw an old man crouched in a roadside ditch. He was mouthing your name. He had a familiar gaze. He was gone when you wiped the sleep from your eyes. You spoke to Blake, learning of your mother's declining health, her insomnia, her erratic behavior. You ignored the urgency in your brother's voice. By and by, you made your way east. You threw your phone into the Rio Grande. You joined the armies of the Mesa. For months, you were in the company of fugitives. You slept in nuclear tunnels, repairing engines and weaponry. ABQ, New Mexico? Albuquerque, New Mexico? The war was a meme that set Albuquerque on fire. You escaped while the foot soldiers of a pop-up junta bloodied the parched land. While hiding in the berth of a freightliner. I forget. You called home from a landline in a motel somewhere beyond Texas. You knew from Blake's hello that your mother was already dead. You hung up, shouldered your bag, returned to the highway. 5 years had passed. The ghosts were calling you back home. Act 1, Lowland Ghosts. You awake from a delirious dream to find yourself in your childhood bedroom. Monkey watches you from the corner. Okay. As you can tell, this is a pixel art, bizarre, stylish point and click. This is us, or a mind map of us. You. Oh. Our home again. Because your brother needs you. Because your mom died. Oh, cool. You were traveling. Through the Midwest? The freight cars rattled in the cold dusk as he crouched on the grainer porch. The cell towers peaked over the flat country, translating the notions of the world. The lights of suburban Memphis, the fences, the traffic, the stark shadows under a lavender blanket of clouds. Afraid, tired, silent, and alert at each terminal, he watched the night decay for miles. Then what? You rode in the back of a van, wedged between amplifiers from Chicago to Des Moines. You stole a heater from Walmart and brought it to the poorly attended house show. Des Moines to Kansas City to Denver. Across the Rockies. Your friends went south, and you were glad to be alone. You spent long nights along those highways in a shitty sleeping bag. You bathed in rivers. You watched the ocean of outer space. You watched the satellites travel along their course down the Pacific coast. Summer days arrived. You built a bike in a garage in Eureka and took it south. Generator shows on the beach, interstate on-ramps teeming with personalities. The familiar smile on the face of the old man in the Central Valley ditch. Oh yeah. This is what we saw in the clouds, I think? That smile burned its image into your eyes. You finish your thought. The ditch man. Catherine, your mom, died. The cancer metastasized. It was in her liver, then her lungs. Then it was in her brain. She was on chemo, never finished her third course. At the hospice on Jefferson Highway, Blake said the traffic shook the building. He left before she drew her last breath. Alone with the morphine drip and the rattling glass, that's how Catherine died. Your mom. Looks like as we discover more, we're going to be able to expand the mind map. Blake, your brother, is oblivious. Your grandma once said that she didn't expect much from Blake. She said he was short-tempered, oblivious, and couldn't focus. I wonder if we're making choices here sometimes. Blake was sitting in the chair across from her, staring down at a tablet. After she left the room, you asked him how he felt. I feel fine, he said. Why? Because of what Gran said, you responded. Looked confused. What'd she say? It's a lot. Okay. So we get to go through all of them if we want to. Younger, reckless, gets in trouble, spends sleepless nights scrolling image boards. An edgelord, a shitlord, a sensitive soul, compassionate, foolish. Can't take criticism. Always needs money. Tries to help those he loves, but often makes things worse. What else? Insecure, dysmorphic, constantly checking his reflection, always seeking validation. Was terrified of you leaving, and now he's terrified of you dying. Wait, we're dying too? When I think of him, all I feel is guilt and obligation. No love or anything like it. So if I go back, interesting. I wonder if we could have unlocked some other path. It's going to be fun to figure out how this game works. The smile of the man who crouched in the ditch of the highway has burned itself into your mind. It's like that's it. A sticker from grade school, half peeled from the window. Overworld. Is this like a living room? What is this in the bottom right? Is this where we're pointing? Like where we're looking? Monkey, your best friend, a childhood gift. You conversed with him often when things got difficult, but then you left. You sat here for 5 years collecting dust. 5 years, his eyes fill with anger as he challenges you to return his gaze. Staring Contest Part 1, Glyphs. Glyphs will appear on the screen and flash in a specific sequence. Once the sequence is complete, you must select the glyphs in the correct order to match Monkey's gaze. Ready? Sure. We successfully met Monkey's gaze with a cool assurance. However, his expression is unchanged. You stare more intensely. Circles will appear over Monkey's eyes. An outer ring will shrink to the perimeter of the circle. Click the circle when the outer ring locks into place. Okay. Your stare was no match for monkeys. It's like it sounds like I'm shooting a bullet into his eyes. Anger melts from Monkey's face. You drape Monkey over your shoulder. Monkey joins. It's a Monkey joins the party. Guess we'll check the computer. The laptop your Parain gifted you idles on a shoddy particle board desk. As the screen illuminates, you notice that the signal in the house is dead. No internet. It looks like Blake was using the computer at some point. He left a browser tab open. Let's take a look at that. 814YX2R. 24136. Oh, wow. Okay. Wait, let's start at the bottom then. Should we start at the top? Holy, there's a lot here. 11YX2R. Modbot archived all YX2Q posts at SCP Anglers YX2Q. Sexula? Anybody still post here? Nope, place is a wasteland. Mods are all SJWS. You're posting. Nice one, jackass. 49 cents. I don't know what that says. Earmarking? You guys can let me know what you think that means. I'm sure I'm missing something. Forgot I even posted. Wanted to run something by you gents. Was knocking out Sac-a-lay in the spillway. Saw a big round glowing thing in the sky. Call that the sun, OP. Funny. Talked to somebody else, seen it too near the parish canal. Didn't we say something about the birds making these glowing balls in the sky? Bruh, that's the sun. LMAO, I see that every day. OP been rising and setting every day I've been alive. Drop it, fucks. Anybody seen it or not? Nothing like this, but birds in them swamps be acting weird. That's what we're talking about. You've all seen the sun, bruh. Relax. Looked like it was made of glass, maybe? Would glow real bright, then not at all. Move fast. Best pick I could get. All kinds of shit been happening out that way. Get some sleep, OP. Need cash fast? Install Quack Job. Use promo code BLEED3 for up to 0.005 Quack Coin. Well, the fuck kind of name is Quack Job? Just like the name sounds, full of lunatics. App's a way of getting you to join a cult. Worse than them people living in the mall in Kenner. Can't trade that coin they use on hardly any exchange because everyone know it's a goddamn Ponzi scheme. Mods won't do a thing about shills, but they'll ban you on the spot for using a naughty word. Place is a joke. ClearNet's nothing but celebs, libs, and bots. Seeing this exact thing, OP still there? See at the base of the upper suction. You assume Million has been keeping the plants alive. Who's Million? A flyer from a show your friend put on a few weeks before you left town. A fight broke out while one of the opening bands played. I was outside. You didn't feel like being around crowds that night. After the show, you and Blake shot fireworks on the roof of a hotel on Poydras Street. Sleepless and sober, the two of you walked back to Norco. You watched the sun climb over the grain elevators. Among the books on the shelf is a pamphlet called Crisis LARPing. I'm interested. The part of disaster tourism began almost as soon as the floodwaters left. Punks from across the country ventured into the 9th Ward, Gentilly, St. Bernard, and finally the East. They curated a theatrical self-portrait of their lives in the ruins. The aesthetics of disaster were central to that emerging milieu. It began to percolate into popular culture. Collapse became the zeitgeist. Wise investors recuperated the experience of disaster. New Orleans became a plastic dystopia, a marketplace for crisis. I guess so. Oh, outside. Cool January air spills through the open window. The low sun washes over the neighborhood. A small flock of blackbirds dissolves into the tree line towards the lake. Commuter traffic glints along Apple Street as a pair of wrens weave out of the overgrown lot next door. Oh, monkey. Monkey stares at you, you stare at monkey. Keep staring? He stares with more intensity. Until his gaze passes through you, you become invisible to him. Little circles of light pool in the doll's tired eyes as they watch the infinite space beyond your being. The air that hangs between your eyes and his is a vacuum of utter stillness. You look away. It's good we didn't die. What's this? Liner notes. Type. Oh, these are like options and stuff. Okay. We go to the living room. Front yard and bedroom. Memories of sleepless twilights, the dull refinery hum in the red halogen half-darkness. Your mom's sitting here, staring through the window. There was a tension in her demeanor on those nights. As if you were interrupting some urgent and obligatory task. You continued to the kitchen with no words exchanged. I thought she hated me. She was thinking about Blue. She barely knew you were there. Got some mail. A letter from Shield Oil. That's what they were talking about at the beginning. Shield. Sits atop a stack of mail. Shield Oil community notice. Dear neighbor, please be advised. There will be elevated flaring at the site of our number 5 stack near Good Hope on the evening of Thursday, March 19th. This will pose no health risks to residents. If you have any questions or concerns, please contact the Shield Norco Office of Community Engagement. Photo album of the family. Yellowing pages of disposable photographs. The grandfather, a peculiar look in his face, impossible to read. Your mom, staring at Blake through the obscure lighting. He's dressed as a vampire, tugging at someone's waist. Pleated khaki shorts. A photo labeled Duck. Scene of a barbecue on the lakefront. The man at the center points playfully at the camera. His face is obscured. Turn the page and there's Blue, your father. Though you've never thought of him that way. Skin stained by the sun. Canister of dip shoved into his front pocket. His easy smile, his knowing eyes. He set the book aside. Stuff in the mind map. Oh, that's creepy. It's like we're getting closer to this guy. The ditch man. Blue is a vague memory. You don't remember Blue, only the things he left behind. Photographs, cologne, tools, the name that your mother kept. Even the pictures that have survived are too faded to make out. And Duck, an old friend of your mom's. Your memory of him is scattered and vague. It's like when they're green, there's more stuff. Yeah, green and pulsing. There's more stuff to find out about them, maybe. Pops Pierre. Your grandfather, Peter Pops Pierre. Melancon. He passed away when you were a teenager. He seemed to court controversy, though as a child, you never understood why. I think that they're also highlighted if there's a new connection. Your mom's unfolded laundry. An old defective flat screen that your mom never bothered to bring to the curb. Guess we can't turn it on then? Turn on the television. A chaotic distortion of your mother's memories flashed before you. We're tuning in. So it looks like an explosion? Someone running out of the explosion? Or out of the smoke? A highway. And these are memories. Our mother's memories. This is already bizarre. I love it. You peruse the titles on the bookshelf. The western margin of the lake. Many tragedies have come to pass along the western margin of Lake Pontchartrain. The unnamed hurricane of YW9D. So there's some different numbering system for the years, I guess, or dates. Left the settlement of Frenier and La Branche in a state of unrecognizable destruction. Those who survived did so by clinging for their lives to the limbs of cypress trees. The fables and secrets of those communities lie with the bones now scattered in the sediment of the lake. Critique of deliberate externality. Shield has acquired much of Norco's most flood-resistant land through a variety of mechanisms. Madère and Moore, YX1Y, argue that one such mechanism is a process of deliberate externality. This theory posits that key corporate decision makers encourage the company to emit effluent and noxious substances into the environment, the explicit intention of decreasing neighboring property values. Corporations would never do something like that. This compels residents to sell their properties below market value to relocate as quickly as possible. The criticism that this theory often receives is that it diminishes the importance of slavery in situating black residents along industrial fence lines, Jacobs YX2D, up and down the Mississippi River. In the words of Carter, slavery was a deliberate externality from which Shield continues to profit. Pollution was never needed. Fence line diaspora. In the end, we decided to leave Dimes. It wasn't the cat cracker or the smells or the fear for our children's health that drove us away, though they played a part. Truth be told, it was the media attention, the spokespeople and activists and academics and all this. I was done with it. I was done being a poster child, done being thought of as a victim. I wanted my experience to be my own, not something to gawk at or dissect in the laboratory. We have a lot to learn about this world. A photo of your mom holding Blake as a baby on a beach in Pensacola, Florida. It's winter. You stand beside them, bundled up and laughing as a gust of wind rakes the beach. The sky is bone white. The heat of spring will soon arrive, and the mildewed air of the window unit will fill the room. Still a kitchen to go to. Some kind of like haunting music too, eh? Oh, and a front yard. Your mom's painkillers are spilled across the kitchen table. The backyard. You've discovered so many dead cockroaches in this microwave over the years that it's discouraged you from using it. For several months, a dead baby roach was stuck between the clock's display and the protective screen, blocking the hour. Blake finally shook the microwave aggressively enough that the roach fell into the guts of the machine. Yeah. Not much in the kitchen, eh? Let's check out the laundry room. You're always frightened by the laundry room. Attic. Speaking of being frightened. There used to be much more clutter up here. You imagine your mom gave it away as the end approached. That's it? backyard. Hey, buddy! Oh, there's Million. Million sits in her characteristic slouch, lost in thought. Her carapace has taken on the rusted and weather-worn quality of the rest of the machinery in the yard. You recall the night that your mom showed up with her. You and Blake stayed up past dawn, poring over pirated API docs. Her ragdoll mask was slumped on the floor as you wrote the routing procedure. You wonder if such memories hide behind her constellation of eyes. The robot regards you casually. Kay, you are awake. Couldn't sleep, we didn't have that noise. Catherine used to say the sound of the refinery helped pacify you. Perhaps that is no longer true. In any case, I'm certain I was no help. She gestures toward the motorcycle at the edge of the carport. I was turning over the engine on that bike to test the coils. It was quite noisy, but they're in good shape now. All I need is a fuse. Classic point and click adventure game puzzle. We gotta find a fuse. And we can use it to get around while I finish repairing the truck. I heard the phone ringing inside, but I had my hands full. Where can I get a fuse? The gas station just up the road has them, but you may have to persuade Troy to let you in. Were you expecting a call? Many people have been calling since Catherine died. Your brother is usually the one to answer the phone, but I don't know where he went off to. He's useless. I give Blake a hard time, but he did more to care for your mother during her final days than anyone else. It's been difficult for him. He deserves some time away from the house. Why would so many people be calling? Your mother left behind a lot of loose ends. From what little I know, I gather she was conducting research for a collector in Metairie. I sense that many people would like to acquire that data. I am unaware of where she has hidden it. Perhaps Blake knows its whereabouts? Who exactly would want to see the data? Your mother spent her entire life researching this town. She knew histories that others have forgotten. History has a lot of value in this place. Who is this collector? I haven't a clue. These aren't things she discussed with me. As the cancer spread, she became more guarded with her research. She always kept strange company. An occupational hazard, I suppose. So anyway, that's all. There were some different options we could have picked there, eh? Million. Million was a security android, a fugitive. Ooh, a fugitive. Once a fugitive, now just a relic. She spends hours in stasis beneath the house, like any discarded thing would. Million was a security android. She guarded the perimeter of the aluminum refinery in Gramercy. One day she ran away. To find her family? What? No. It was... Why? You don't know. Wait, was there another option? Eh. Still figuring into how this all works, eh? Got a garage workshop. Your mom's old 4-cylinder 350cc bike. It has extensive rust and wear. Your mom kept all her gear in a plastic container strapped behind the cab of the truck. Boots, waders, flashlights, tackle, first aid kit, etc. Go back in the kitchen. You can look at the refinery. The towers of the refinery wink in a subtle and familiar rhythm. Shield. Shield is an oil refinery. Shield Gulf South is a regional subsidiary of a transnational oil empire. It holds a large share of leases in the Gulf of Mexico and refines crude oil right here in Norco. The chemical annex sits on the other side of town from the refinery. It produces the feedstock for plastic consumer products. Shield owns half the town. Shield, related to duck. Oh, your mom was conducting research. For who? For a collector in Metairie. Metairie? I'm not familiar with that. How to pronounce that. Your mom. Collector. That's all you know. This truck was your grandfather's. Do you remember riding in his lap while he let you steer? The dead wasps that collected behind the seat, the smell of grease, whiskey, and nicotine. You and Blake would drive the truck into New Orleans on the weekends. No AC, windows down. The rattling chassis was deafening, going 75 on Interstate 10. Million has been slowly repairing the vehicle since your mom's death. Front yard, looks like. Mary. Your grandfather's statue of the Virgin Mary sits in the shadow along the crawl space of the house. Whoa, that's kind of creepy. You observe the weathered concrete and flaking paint of the statue. Inspect further. The face is especially deteriorated, framed by a system of cracks. You run your hands along the deteriorating contours of the statue. Jesus. It snaps off as if by design. Like literally Jesus. Behind the statue's face hides an odd assemblage of electronics carelessly soldered together. At the center of the electronic configuration is what appears to be a card reader. That's all there is, okay. 3 times this house is flooded. The first flood is a shadow of a memory. Placing your feet down on drenched carpet, your mom and grandfather are ripping out sheetrock. Sitting in a small RV in the backyard, setting dolls on a cluttered little table. Second flood, you were 14. The pumping station failed during a heavy rain. You're in class watching the clouds move upriver. You got a text message from your mom. Stay in Destrehan. I'll come get you. For 2 weeks, you shared a hotel room with your mom and Blake. She spent all her days gutting the house. In the evenings, you'd sometimes help. The third flood. Another pump failure. Your mom hired contractors with the insurance money. She said she was getting too old for it. You were bitter. You blamed her for not selling the house sooner. You stayed with friends in New Orleans. The fourth flood will follow a slow hurricane, and it will be a calamity. It will leave the entire region submerged as critical levees breach. There will be a massive blackout that lasts weeks. Much of the sewerage infrastructure will be damaged beyond repair. The embattled federal government will do nothing to assist. It will bankrupt the region. Small militant enclaves will form along the high ground of the Mississippi River. They will take to piracy and hijack commercial shipping vessels. Private mercenary forces will retaliate in kind. Slowly, industry will flee this hot zone. The old river control structure will collapse from neglect and sabotage. The Mississippi River will again change its course. Norco, an old abandoned refinery town on a ghost of a river. Your house will be squatted and then razed. Guess that's the situation. 3 crow, or is that the future? I don't know. I can't. I think that's where we're at now. 3 crows eye you from the power line. We went into the backyard, right? There's the street. Kitty! Your mom fed the neighborhood strays. They must be hungry since she passed. The reason why I'm not sure if it's like where we're currently at or if it's in the future is because our house isn't like raised. It's still here. So maybe that's something's gonna happen later on. I don't know. We'll find out. The overhead light of the neighbor's kitchen illuminates yellowing wallpaper and unused furniture. Cars going by.